Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to talk about authority, the importance of authority. And the question is just who is your authority? It's nice to have one, somebody to look up to, somebody to honor, somebody respectable, okay? Somebody trustworthy, steadfast. Well, let's talk about that. First of all, let's begin with the topic of meditation, which is one of my favorite topics, because I see that people need a proper meditation. They really do. Now, what happens to all of us is that as we go through life, from the time we're little children, we are confused, upset, emotionalized. We start off as children, okay, and it's not long before people start to confuse us, upset us, um, make us angry, hurt us, see, betray us. We go to school, there are bullies, there are pressures. So before long we start to escape into the imagination more and more. Now the imagination is perfectly natural for little children, and it's a good thing actually for little children. But as we get older, we're supposed to live in reality. Okay? People who are cut off from reality are called psychotics, okay, or other psychological terms. More and more as we get older, we should be in reality. See, not hiding. But what happens is, before long, we get used to escaping into the imagination. At the first sighting of stress, actually, we lower our awareness and escape into thinking or into imagination. And down there in the imagination, we think we relive what happened, trying to change it to make it more acceptable. We're thinking, why did he say that to me? Why did she say that? That sort of thing. And then we think about the future. Well, next time I'll say this and I'll say that. So we're living in the past, or planning and scheming for the future, or just escaping into thoughts, into the endless stream of thoughts, sometimes fueled with the assistance of movies, music, videos, drugs. See, we escape into thoughts and imagination. We hide down there. And we in your thoughts or in your imagination you can be king or queen, okay, and you can also be the conqueror or the champion, okay, and then you have thoughts of worship, being worshipped, and thoughts of getting revenge. You see what I mean? The more we hide in thinking and fantasy and imagination, see, the less capable we are of handling reality. Okay, we come out of our fantasies, or out from our texting, or out from our video game temporarily. Like a little mole or gopher. You know how they poke their head up. Gophers poke their head up and look around, and then they go back down again. Well, we come out from our hiding in our video games, or our texting, or our internet surfing, or our fantasies, or our movies, or our music. We come out long enough to peek at reality and maybe put on a show of, at the office we can put on a good presentation, for an hour, or run a good little seminar for a couple of hours, and convince other people that we are competent and together, and then we go home and escape into our food, our drink, our marijuana, our movies. You see what I mean? Well, okay, so now let's talk about what's wrong with that. Well, first of all, we're not supposed to be escaping into reality, we're into fantasy. We're supposed to live in reality and be the masters. Masters. Okay, not victims. The more you escape into fantasy, the more you are capable of becoming even more of a victim. It was being a victim in the first place that threw you into fantasies. Then the less adept you are at handling life, okay, the more you're likely to be a victim again. You know, if you see a person shuffling down the street with their head down, lost in thinking, or lost in their music or something, well, that's the one that could easily be pickpocketed. See? See what I mean? Well, okay, so what are we going to do? Well, let's talk about meditation now. You see, you have um, you have the environment, and you have the subconscious mind, and you have the conscious mind. Okay? Now, animals basically are their subconscious mind is fused to the environment. They react to what happens out in the world, in the world of nature. They react to it with their super computer brain, their super subconscious computer brain. And they have instincts and responses that they're born with, and then some learned responses. And so their subconscious mind is like a computer. And then it reacts to whatever's happening. So it's react, react, react. Well, it's perfectly natural for animals, but human beings, see, our conscious mind. Now think about it. If your conscious mind is subject to your imagination, subject to your subconscious, and your subconscious is fused to the environment, then basically you are subject to the environment. See, you're no longer in control. Your subconscious mind is like the middle mediator between the environment. Well, it's in control, and then your conscious mind is there like, oh my gosh, your conscious mind becomes more and more like somebody on a roller coaster ride, clinging on, hanging on, and oh my God, what's going to be next? Oh no, see? It's like you're clinging on for dear life, and the thoughts that arise, and the worries, and the doubts, and the fears, and the ideas, and the notions, see, that rise up. Okay? You're there, oh my God, how do I deal with all of this? They're in charge, see? And the environment, you're just like a pup. People can get to you so easily. They know how to upset you. See? They know how to get to you. They know how to manipulate you. See, it started a long time ago, maybe when you were a child. So who was a manipulator in your life at that time? People are good at it. And you are the victim of manipulation because you are subject to the environment. That's the point. Subject to the environment and subject to the subconscious. Now let's talk about authority. Your authority, the authority of your conscious mind, is supposed to be your conscience or intuition. They're the same thing. Conscience and intuition are the same thing. Intuition is what you wordlessly know. Okay? You just wordlessly know what's right, what's fair, what's just. If you don't know, you wait until you do know. It's also common sense. The most basic form of intuition is common sense. You can't learn common sense in school. In fact, if you go to school and study too much, then you get lost in study. That pulls you in. See, study pulls you into your thinking, doesn't it? Then you're lost down in thinking, so now you're subject to the subconscious mind, see? So common sense is basic form of intuition. Then you have understanding, wisdom. Okay? So you go through life effortlessly. You just sort of, the French call it savoir-faire, to know. Okay? Just to kind of have a way of knowing the right thing to do. When you stray from your intuition, it's conscience. It feels like conscience. because it's basically God's light now still there. See, God has never abandoned you. His light is there. Now it's conscience. And when you stray from it far enough from it, then it just feels like anxiety. You don't even feel it as conscience anymore. When you were a little kid, you felt it as conscience. When you got angry at your mom, stormed into your room and said, "I hate you," well, then you felt bad. That was your conscience. Okay? Now you may not have that strong feeling anymore because you're so far away from it. You just feel it as an anxiety. Okay? But anyway, so conscience and intuition is supposed to be your authority. And it would lead you to a happy life, to your purpose for your existence, a happy life. It would lead you in the right direction. It would be a lamp unto your feet. And it would keep you from going the wrong way. See, some people do sense their intuition at times. They have a strong intuition not to do something. You know, the classic example is you are stopped at a red light. Then the light turns green. But for some reason you don't go. You sit there for something is restraining you. You're just sitting there for a moment. And then all of a sudden here comes a red light runner flying through the intersection. If you had immediately gone, you would have been hit. See, so you were safe. You have a sense that not to go with somebody, not to get involved with somebody. You have a strong sense, wordless. They call it gut level knowing. Trust your gut, right? Isn't that what we're told? You're leaving, you're going home after school in a big city. It's late at night. You had a night class, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Normally you take a shortcut through the alley to get to your car, but tonight for some reason something is restraining you not to go through that alley. See, who knows what was lurking in that alley? Your intuition protected you. Okay? So intuition it'll take you all the way, even to salvation. It'll lead you all the way. Okay, and protect you. Be your guide. Intuition from God. Okay. Well, now it feels like conscience because you've strayed from it. You haven't been living your own life. That's the main thing you're guilty of is not living your own life. Okay, and not only that, but then you resent other people. You know, you resented your dad and hated your boyfriend. You know, those kinds of things too, of course. But so you see why you feel off balance and ill at ease. It's because you're not centered. You're not in accord with your intuition. Well, that should be your authority. It's from God. And when you love what is right, what is wise, what is just, what is true, when you love those things, it's the same as, it's like loving God. See? And then you will then be moved. I was going to say, yes, you will be moved. You'll eventually find Him. Okay? And you'll know that it's Him, and He will be your authority. See? So now you can see in a home, for example, who's supposed to be the authority in the home? Well, it's supposed to be Father. Father is supposed to be the authority. Wise, with understanding, long-suffering, patience, courage, virtue, honor, nobility, kindness, graciousness. See? Father is the authority. He stands in for God in the eyes of a child. And respecting the good that you see in Father, which is not His good, it comes from God. See? Respecting that. That's good for you. Okay? And the wife, seeing the good in her husband, respecting it. Respecting the good in her husband, and one day perhaps coming to love the good that is in her husband. See? It's just beautiful. It would just be beautiful. But now look at home. Who's the authority? A lot of times Dad is gone. There's been a divorce. He's left. He's never home. Or See, so mom has to fill the vacuum. Somebody has to step into the breach and fill the vacuum. Somebody has to be, somebody has to be in charge. So mom has to take on the responsibility. At first, she doesn't mind, but then later she resents it because it's her husband who's supposed to be, not, she's saddled. She's saddled with all the responsibility. See, so she resents him. Okay? But more so, look who becomes who, when things deteriorate even more, then who is the authority of the kids or the teenagers? It's the group, the peers, the culture. See, that's the environment. So now remember what I began by saying, that the animals don't have the conscious mind like we do to be subject to intuition, to conscience, to God. Animals have the subconscious mind, like a computer kind of a mind, which is very, very clever, but it's a subconscious programmable mind, and the environment, and they're fused together, and the animal is subject to the environment, okay, to react. So when there's no authority at home, when father is gone, for example, see, the kids then, they become subject to the environment. School pressure, ambition pressure, peer pressure, drug pressure, sex pressure, see, the media, the culture, the music, the video games, all of that. They become completely subject to it. Completely subject to it, reacting to it, immersed in it. But they have guilt because, don't forget, they are humans. They have a soul. They have a conscious mind. They have a conscious mind, but because of the absence of proper authority, all they can do is look to external authorities in the environment. So instead of home being the father being the authority, it becomes whoever is the strongest influence in the environment. You see how that works? Okay, so here's what you need to do, okay? If you have conflict, if you see you're not living your own life, if you can see that you're too reactive, you get upset too easily, if you can see that you're lost in thinking, all these things that I talk about all the time, then you should get my meditation. I call it the easy meditation. It's only a few minutes long. You can listen to the recording. I also have a meditation app. Okay? You can listen online, do the meditation app, listen to my, with my voice, with my guidance for a few times, and then after that you can do it on your own. What it does is it helps you immediately, just a little technique. See, so it immediately helps you to come out of the being lost in thinking, come out of the imagination. When you come out, you're no longer in the imagination. You're no longer subject to the imagination, to thoughts, or to the environment. Now you are out above it, outside of it, and now you can make contact with conscience, with intuition. See? And then become subject to conscience, intuition, the light from God. See how simple that is? Then your life will be on the mend. You'll have it made into shade. You'll be on easy street. My dad used to love that expression, to be on easy street. Okay, so get the easy meditation. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. Give it a try. My name is Rome.